Bowers Game Corner presents Gen Con Video Bonanza 2016. Brought to you by Gutshot Games and their Gen Con release, Headhunters, a collectible card game and a collectible toy. And Shoot Again Games, makers of Looting Atlantis and Conspiracy. Look for Pinball Showdown on Kickstarter soon. Also brought to you by the generous support of these companies and our fantastic Kickstarter backers.
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for more of our Gen Con Bonanza Explosion Blowout coverage. We're here live in Indianapolis, downtown Indianapolis, at Scotty's Brewhouse. And oh my goodness, it looks like Bowers Game Corner's made it, because we were just at an industry-type thing. There was food, and there was beer, and there was a whole bunch of cool information about an upcoming game called Mythic Battles Pantheon. Now, you might not know the name of this game right now, but this is from the same company who did Conan, Monolith, and Mythic Games. So Conan, if you didn't know, it was on Kickstarter. It was a miniatures game. Apparently, it's pretty dang good, and it raised, what'd they say, like, after everything was all done, raised $3 million on Kickstarter. Both pledge banners, they raised $5 million. Yes, $5 million. That's insane. That's 3 times Scythe almost, if you really want to think about it. That's just absolutely gaga crazy. So it was a miniatures game, and they're coming out with the new miniatures games called Mythic Battles Pantheon, and I'm going to give you the lowdown on it. So the Kickstarter is going to be at the end of October. They're going to be charging $100, and it's going to be similar to, say, like a Star Wars, the Star Wars one from Fantasy Flight Games, where it's going to have a skirmish mode, 2 to 4 players, or it's going to have a story mode, where apparently it's all, I don't want to say legacy-esque, but similar to that, where you're going to be going through a campaign. So what do you want to know about it? We'll look at the press release so you can see some of it. The miniatures are absolutely freaking gorgeous. They are insane. And actually, they're using a new special kind of plastic that they showed us, so they could get even more intricate details into this. And it looks just absolutely cool. They had some really cool mock setups with a bunch of cool stuff. Tons of artists working on it. They had tons of big name artists. Yeah, it's coming at the end of the year. $100. They talked about the stretch goals. Apparently, they weren't prepared with Conan. They were like, well, we didn't know. We didn't expect it to be huge like it was. They're prepared this time. And they were whetting our beaks. They were telling us a whole bunch of cool expansions ideas that they have in the books. They gave us 2 really cool things that, unfortunately, gag order, we can't talk about. But needless to say, if this looks like it might be for you, the 2 things that they are going to announce are going to get you ridiculously excited. I'll put it this way. If you like miniatures, this is a no-brainer. Now, gameplay-wise, though, what's the gameplay like? So they explained it a whole bunch, and then I actually got a chance to play like a really super quick, like 5 to 10 minute turn with Eric Martin, who's the big news guy at Board Game Geek, and I think we were playing Zeus versus, I think it was Athena. Zeus versus Athena. And how it works essentially is there's going to be 3 types of troops on the board. You're going to have your big, powerful god who's going to have all these cool abilities. And then you are also going to have somewhat of a lesser character who's, you're mouthing it, just say it. Heroes. You're going to have heroes out on the board. So they give us like Achilles or Hercules or all sorts of stuff like that, and they will also have special abilities that they can utilize. And then you're also going to have your sort of troops, your peons, who will have a couple special abilities here and there. Now, they're saying, I think it was like 38 miniatures coming out of the box, and over half of them are going to be unique. It's not like, you get your typical game of zombies from like Twilight Creations, and it's like, we have 100 miniatures in the box, and you're like, yeah, they're all the same zombie. That's not the case with this. We got to see a whole bunch of them. And, I can't even stress enough. They were gorgeous. And you know me. If you've seen my videos, you know I'm not a miniatures guy. I partially because I can't afford them for the most part, I will be honest. But, I don't play too many miniatures games. But just looking at this, it looked like a giant, amazing play set of just Greek mythology on the board. It really came to life. There was a Medusa, and that was actually like 8 different miniatures with her tentacles popping up, and they showed the artwork too, and the artwork looked exactly like the miniature. It was insane, the level of detail going on in this. Let me look down at my notes real quick. My thumbprint does not work there, and I will stall for time at the moment. So how it works is, and there was a couple things that I really liked about the combat system. So essentially, you're going to have cards, you're going to have a deck of cards that will be comprised of the characters you're playing at. Your heroes, your god, all that sort of stuff. And you're going to be drawing 1 card per turn, and then you're going to be doing 2 actions on your turn, moving, attacking, all sorts of different stuff. But terrain is going to come into play. Everybody's going to have special abilities that we'll be able to utilize. And they had a really cool exploding dice mechanism. And I love exploding dice mechanism. And if you don't know what exploding dice is, that's like your typical one where if you roll a 6, then you get to re-roll that 6 and then add it to your original total. But this one, you're actually allowed to modify dice to raise your dice up so that you could potentially get it to the 6. Or in this game, it's going to be a 5 because you're going to have 6-sided dice that are going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're going to be doing cards, still dice-based combat. Looked really streamlined. It seemed very simple. The only thing that worried me a little bit, and I'm sure there will be player aid cards with it, was that there were special abilities that you're going to have. So your character, your god's going to have special abilities, your hero's going to have special abilities, your troops are going to have special abilities. Lots of stuff like that. But so I'm hoping that there's like a big player aid card that will tell you exactly what all the special abilities do. I'm sure that they probably are going to have one of those, though. So, the troops and heroes, Hercules, Odysseus, Atlanta. I'm just trying to go through. This was another thing. I love drafting, and this game is actually going to have drafting, where, if I remember correctly, you're going to start off with your hero, your god, but then you're going to be able to draft your heroes and the people that you want. So they're going to be able to have different synergistic, wow, that's an impressive word, synergistic combos that you're going to be able to complete and have based on it. If you can't tell, I was chomping at the bit, and apparently this was originally a game that came out 2012, and they're doing a new versions with miniatures, and they streamlined everything, so they already had the base game, and if there was any flaws, I'm sure they're going to be fixing it. It's going to be coming out from Fantasy Flight Games Asmodee, shocker. The Underworld guy. Who was he? Hades. Hades was another one of the gods that was going to be in it. They were talking about some of the campaign modes. You know, I feel like I've talked about just about everything that I can possibly talk about, but what you need to know is, if you're in the market for a miniatures game this October, you got $100 to spend, I honestly think this one is going to be incredibly cool. Gorgeous miniatures. The combat seemed simple. I really like the fact that you were only doing 2 actions on your turn. I love games like that where there's meat and there's chunkiness there and there's, strategery, but the fact that you only have a limited number of actions on your turns makes it so that it's bite-sized chunkiness. But anywho, so that is Mythic Battles Pantheon, coming from Monolith Game Studios and Monolith and Mythic Games. And like I said, some of the coolest surprises I can't even tell you about, but lots of cool stuff going on here. So if it looks like it might be your cup of tea, be sure to check out that Kickstarter when it launches this fall. If you're enjoying this Gen Con coverage, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know, what is the biggest miniatures game that you have? For personally, this is kind of embarrassing to say. And you know what? Okay, I used to have 12 Realms, which is from Mage Company, and that was my biggest miniatures game that I have, which can tell you how many miniatures games I have. But actually, I just picked up a copy of The Others by Eric Lang, Cool Main or Not, so now that is my new biggest miniatures game. But what is your biggest miniatures game? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.
This was brought to you by Headhunters from Gunshot Games, Pinball Showdown from Shoot Again Games, these great companies, and fans like you.